All right. So we've just been calculating the expected value or the mean for um, um, for our probability, our frequency distribution functions, our tables here. Now we want to calculate the standard deviation. So in order to calculate the standard deviation of the expected value, step one is we have to calculate the expected value first. Okay, that's why I taught you how to do it first. Step two is to add a fourth column titled x minus mu squared times p of x. Step three is to fill in the fourth column row by row. And then step four is to calculate the standard deviation as the square root of the sum of the fourth column. So you can see that this term right here is what we calculated in the fourth column. And you take the sum of all those values, and then you take the square root of that. Okay, so let's see how we can use the calculator to do that for us. So this is building off of the previous example. So in the previous example, right, this was about the soccer team and the number of times they play every week. So 0 times, 1 time, or 2 times. And these are the probabilities for each of those values in the domain. When we took the values of x and multiplied it times the values of the probability of x, then we got this third column. And by adding up all the values in this third column, it gave us our expected value of 1.1. So that gets us to step one. Now, step two is to add a fourth column, and this is going to be x minus mu squared times p of x. Okay, so let's kind of see what this is going to look like. So let me use different colors here. So this is going to be x, and this will be p of x. Okay, so these are our values of x, and these are our values of p of x. So this first row is going to have our value of x, which is 0 in this row, minus, now mu is our expected value, which we calculated first, and that's 1.1. Now we're going to take that difference and square it, and then multiply it by the value in the second column, p of x, which in this case would be 0.2. All right, so you can see that it's slightly involved to calculate ourselves, but we can have the calculator do it for us. But I think it's instructive to see how we need to program this into the calculator to do it correctly. All right. So let's take a look at doing that with both the Texas Instruments and the NumWorks calculators. So let me go back to the list editor here. So you can see I've got my values of x, my probability of x, the x times p of x column. So now let me go to the fourth column. Now the fourth column is where I'm going to program in this equation here, x minus mu squared times p of x. All right. So our value of x is going to be the first column. So that's going to be list one. So again, first of all, make sure that list four is selected. Move the arrow keys around so that list four is selected. And I'm going to put left parentheses. Okay, these are values of x, so we're going to put list one there. So second and one. And let's come back over here and see what we need to do. So now we've got list one. Now we need to subtract mu. We have to subtract 1.1 from that. So now we're going to put minus 1.1. And then we're going to put right parentheses. And there's this button here, which is x squared. Okay. We want to tap that key, and that's going to square the difference. So you can see we've just entered in. See, we just entered in this part. Now we need to multiply by p of x, which is our second column. So we're going to put times the second column, which is list 2. Now, let's see, I'm gambling on this working, but let me leave this up because I want to do this now with the numworks calculator. So I'm going to come over here to Y2, and I'm going to click OK. All right, so maybe not OK. Let me put execute. Okay, why isn't this working? It should work. Oh, I'm in the stats tab. That's why. Let me come over to the data tab. Okay, now I can come over to Y2. I want to hit execute. I want to fill this with a formula. Click on empty. Okay, now Y2 is going to be equal to pretty much the same thing that I just did. So I need to put left parentheses. Now the values that we want of x, our values of x came from column x1. So I need to hit shift alpha x1 minus 1.1 right parentheses. And then you can see the x squared key on the numworks calculator is right above the right parentheses. So I can tap that. And I can do times. And now I need to put in my probabilities of x, which is in this y1 column here. So I need to put shift alpha 3 1. And if I've done things right, when I hit execute here, it gives me these values, 0.242, 0.005, and 0.243. Should give me the same values here on the Texas Instruments calculator for list 4. And it does. All right. So let's come back to our work. And let me write these values down just so that you can see kind of where we're going. So that was 0.242. This is 0.005. And then this one was 0.243. Now, the standard deviation is going to be equal to the square root. That's maybe too long. The square root of all of that. Let's see, it's the sum of our x minus mu squared minus or times p of x. All right, so we need to get the sum of all of these numbers. So to get the sum of all of those numbers, we can use one variable stats on list 4. So I'll hit stat, calculate, one variable stats. And instead of list 3, we'll change that to list 4. Come down to calculate. And the sum of list 4, the sum of all the x's in list 4 is 0.49. Okay, so this value is going to be 0.49. Let's take a look at the numworks calculator. So to get the sum of y2, just move up to the Data tab, move over to the Stats tab, click OK. And what we want is the sum of, this sum of row. Come over to y2, and you can see it's 0.49. All right, so we got the same values on both calculators here, 0.49 and 0.49. Now we need to take the square root of that. So here's kind of a cool thing I like about the numworks calculator. So we can actually do a copy and paste, okay? So right here I've got 0.49 selected. Notice that the word copy is on the var button on the numworks calculator. So because the word copy is in orange, I have to hit the shift key first, and then this variable button, and now it's going to copy that value. So now I'm going to click on home. I'm going to go to the calculation app, and now I can take the square root, and now there's a paste button. So I can hit shift and the toolbox button, and it pastes in 0.49. So I really like this calculator. It has a copy and paste. That's pretty cool. And I can hit execute, and it gives me 0.7. Okay, that's going to be my standard deviation. Over here on the Texas Instruments, you can just write this down. So let me quit out of this. And I could just do square root is in blue. So I have to hit second, then this x squared button, and then maybe put in 0.49, enter, and that gives me 0.7. Another way I could do it, yeah, I think another way I can do it is I can do square root like I just did. But let's say this value wasn't a really short decimal, okay? What I can do is I can click the variables button, and then go down to statistics, which is option 5. Hit enter. And you see this sum of menu. I could get the sum of the x's that were just recently calculated. So I can get the square root of this value, 0.49, which was stored in this sum of x's variable. If I hit enter, yeah, that's going to be 0.7 as well. Okay. So I kind of like the copy paste feature of the numworks. We could have also referred, I think, to a variable, which would have been the sum of the x's as well, but copy paste just works a little bit better. All right, so let's come back. So the square root of 0.49 was 0.7. And so that is our standard deviation for this. And down below, I've got instructions. I've got instructions on this for both calculators, but I just told you about that. All right. All right. So that's it for that example. Let me know if you have any questions.